Well, hi there everyone, and welcome to another Call Scotland webinar. This week we have Joanna and Courtney with us, and she'll be providing an overview of what's new in iGaze technology. So without further ado, I'll hand you over to Joanna.
Thanks, Robert. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you can all hear us okay, and you're... Oops, here we go. Great, that's us. Good afternoon. Hope you're all hearing us okay, and look forward to talking you through some of the new innovations in iGaze technology and some of the most current software and resources. So just to let you know that they have a folder, I've got a folder which you can download at the end with lots of resources linked to what I'm going to show you this afternoon, PDFs with links to websites and free pieces of software, which you will be able to take away and use in your setting. If you have any questions, we usually ask you to wait till the end, and you'll get a chance to ask any questions at that point.
That's about 20 minutes time.
Okay, right. Okay, so we're going to start from Call Scotland's website. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Joanna Courtney. I'm one of the specialist speech and language therapists here at Call Scotland. I work a lot with individual pupils using iGaze as an access method to AAC devices, and also with pupils using iGaze at an early sort of sensory level to begin to access the curriculum. So hopefully I'll give you quite a broad overview of different resources and practical applications using iGaze as an access method. I'm just going to point you to a couple of resources from our own website to start off with. Those of you who might not be familiar, from our main page, if you go to the downloads section, we have a vast array of free resources to advice for reading, writing and communication difficulties. If you go into the posters and leaflets section, the two resources that are most suitable to talk about today are the iGaze software curve, which is an interactive PDF signposting you to various pieces of software and where they appear on the iGaze learning curve. So basically this is an overview of what software is out there and broken down into stages so that you could see which pieces of software are useful for your learners depending on their level. As I said, it's an interactive PDF, so all the links on the PDF are clickable through to the websites that provide the resources and the software and hardware, so you can find out more about them, find out how much they cost, etc. So it's a good kind of one-stop shop for finding out about software and planning what you're going to do with your pupils. As well as that resource, there's also an iGaze setup guide, which we hope might be useful, just a kind of 10 steps to setting up your iGaze device. So going through the things that you have to think about before you set up a learner to use iGaze, positioning the equipment correctly, the student and getting them in the right position, thinking about lighting, tracking their eyes, thinking about if you want to track one eye or both eyes, always checking the eye track status, and thinking about calibrations, and also Windows control for controlling most of the software that you'll see this afternoon. So again, something just to remind staff of considerations when they're setting up a pupil. Because as you might well know with iGaze, if you haven't got someone set up properly and the iGaze camera is not seeing their eyes correctly, then you're kind of off to a bad start really. So really important to get positioning correct and make sure everything's working before you start using any of these resources with your learners. While I'm talking about from our website, just to remind you that the free ASL and Technology Conference is coming up in June, the 12th and 13th of June. There are still places on the 12th of June to sign up for the conference, and some of the providers of iGaze technology will be there on that day. So if you are available to come to Edinburgh, you would be able to try out some of the devices and try out some of the software. So there's the website there. You can go on and you can sign up there. Edinburgh, there are places left for Edinburgh, but Glasgow is full. So if you're able to come on the 12th of June, it would be nice to see you. Okay, so we're going to have a look at sort of three different areas really. I'm going to have a look at some of the most recent hardware for eye gaze. Then we're going to have a look at some websites which have very useful materials and resources. And then we're going to have a look at some standalone software as well this afternoon. So without further ado, we'll get straight on. So first of all, I'm just going to point you towards the Smartbox's eye gaze device, which is the GridPad 12. It has eye gaze camera attached at the bottom. It's a really nice size of eye gaze device, and we have one in our new loan bank actually, and some new equipment that we've bought, and we've been trying it out with several pupils. It's got a very nice long battery life, 10 hours, so well over the school day, and very robust as well. Grid 3 software is what comes with it. You can get the GridPad on its own as a touch device or with the eye gaze camera, and the one we've got has got a PCI mini camera. So a couple of pupils using that device. It's a really great device. The Tobi, when it comes to Tobi devices, there's the iMobile Plus, which is for communication and computer access. The nice thing about this device is that you have a built-in, you've got a built-in stand, and if you turn it around to the back there, you can see there's a built-in speaker and also 2 switch ports and IR, environmental control unit, built in as well. It's a Surface Pro tablet in a very ruggedized case with a Tobi camera as well. There are 2 different mounting plates on the back. It's an interchangeable mounting plate, so you can either have a Rehadapt mounting stand for it or a daisy. You can swap it around so it's interchangeable. So that's a really nice device too. You can see the kind of prices and everything on the website there too. The other one that is a recent addition to the Tobi family is the iMobile Mini. Now this is a similar idea. You've got the bracket and the protective case with the Surface Pro, but this time there's no back box with the amplification and the switch access. So this is a kind of more simple. It's just the actual stand and the case around a tablet, a Surface Pro tablet, and the PCI mini camera.
Sorry, can I just can you just stop sharing a minute?
Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
I just need to put back to the desktop. Maybe the music was playing out of the cables, but we'll just hide this. Okay, and if you share your screen again. Okay, sorry.
Okay, can I just minimize that? Right, okay. So that's the iMobile Mini. Again, really nice and portable as well, and having its own stand is really handy for assessments as well. Okay, moving on, inclusive technology. So their kind of current offerings are a Surface, and their equivalent to that is the Surface Pro Eye Gaze Education with an iRespond camera. So again, you've got your Surface tablet in a ruggedized case with mounting and the iRespond camera at the bottom, which you can see with the mounting plates. It comes with the inclusive eye gaze learning curve software. And then in addition, I'll just go back. If you want a classroom standalone solution, the one that Inclusive Technology offers is the all-in-one eye gaze education iRespond. So again, it's the iRespond camera on an all-in-one PC with a floor stand and the inclusive learning curve software. If you wanted a PCI mini camera, you would have to buy the parts separately. You'd have to get the PCI camera and the software and an all-in-one touch PC and stand separately. There's not a kind of combined package for that. unfortunately. That might be something that is in the pipeline, but not at the moment. Okay, the other new addition, oh, let's get rid of that, is the Liberator. I've got a brand new device out, and this is really new, the Look camera. So I'm sure they'll be doing a bit more promotion and demonstration of that in the months to come. But this is their new eye gaze camera, the Look. So look forward to trying that out, and it is a bundle that goes along with the accent devices from Liberator. So again, nice and small and light, and attaches to the accent devices. So look forward to finding more out about that camera too. Okay, we're going to move on to software, to websites. For those of you who might remember Ian Bean and the Ian Bean activities, Ian Bean has got a free two different websites, really, and there's the ianbean.co.uk, which is this one, on which there are lots of free resources that you can play online. Really nice because you've got your video activities in a kind of Priory Woods style. You've also got your kind of SEN switcher for students with more profound and multiple difficulties. So these are accessible through any access method, touch, switch, eye gaze, etc. So if I wanted to, I'll just demonstrate one of these activities here. So I've got I'm in the members area. I can just pop in here. Oh, sorry, hang on. Cool, just go into the resources section, and I can just decide. There we go. I'll go in here, and these ones I can use online. So if I wanted pop music and musical genres, I can go in here, and I can choose which one I'd like. And let's just say I'll get Rag and Bone Man. It loads up, and as you can see, you can use a switch, you can use touch, you can use a pointer, and you can use eye gaze. So if I just choose the eye gaze option, so this is a kind of nice early targeting activity. As soon as I dwell and hold my eye on the button, the video plays. And it'll play for a certain period of time, and then the target spot will appear at a different point in the screen, so you can start using targeting with your pupils, start to practice targeting. There you go. And then as you see, it appears at a different point in the screen, so you're starting to, you can encourage your learners to be starting to target different areas of the screen. So these are really, really nice activities. Okay, so there's lots and lots of free activities on there that you can use online. If you want to download them, you need to create a free account, and you can then download them to use offline. The other side of Ian Bean's website is the senetsoftware.com. Now these are teaching resources for which you need a subscription in order to download them and use a lot of the really useful resources. You get a free trial, you can have a week's free trial, but very much worth the subscription for a year if you're wanting to download the really nice supporting resources. So I'll just have a look because I've got logged in with my subscription. Just go in and show you. Here we go. So resource library. So if I go to eye gaze, and in here there's lots of nice, you'll remember the Ian Bean switch progression that a lot of people have used for many years. There's now an eye gaze progression, a record sheet, different advice about working with eye gaze systems. So really nice resources, very, very useful resources, and accompanying games and activities to go with those to help you to to track and monitor your learners' progress along the eye gaze curve, and also lots of really nice activities and software and games and things as well. So as I say, you can get a free trial of that, and if you want unlimited access to all those resources, then you have a £66 a year subscription for that. Okay, so that's new online resources, and we're also going to look at some of the new software that's out. And the main things we're going to have a look at are Look to Read, which is a new piece of software from Smartbox. Here it is. So this is a really nice reading program for children who are using eye gaze technology. It's really nice. You go in, you've got 4 different stages. When you go into the books, you've got 4 books in each stage. Here it comes, it's just going to open up here. And you've got your book that you can read, and the children can track the words across the page, which is really nice. And you've also got activities that go with each story. So listening to the sounds, hearing the words, building the words, and also comprehension, recalling what happened in the story. So these are really nice. And then along with those, you've got chat boards about what's happening in the story too. So these are really good. And again, you can get a free trial of Look to Read. You get 1 book in your downloadable trial version, and that's available from Smartbox's website. And the links to all these things are on one of the resources that you can download that I've put up for you on the What's New in Eye Gaze resource list. So it's got links to these resources, but you can get a free trial with 1 of the books to try out all the resources with Look to Read. Let's say exit just now. And then I'm just going to have a little look and show you what's new in Grid 3 as well. So for those of you who don't know about Grid 3 is a really nice piece of software for curricular and communication access. Again, there's a resource in the downloads that gives you information about the prices for licenses for Grid 3. There's also a free 60-day trial, so you can try it out with your learners and see if it will be useful for you. So along with Look to Read and Look to Learn, which is a very popular piece of software from Smartbox, there's also Grid 3, and there's some really nice new grids. I'm just going to show you a couple of those from Online Grid. So you go online and you can download the most recent grids from the online community. So there's a really nice one called Pointing Assessment, which is new out. Now the idea with this grid set is when you go into your activities, you can choose the number of cells, so you can try out and see how many cells an eye gaze user might be able to access successfully. So you could start with maybe 3 by 3, and then you say start, and then that's a 3 by 3 grid, just filled with 5 choices, but it's a 3 by 3 grid. And then the pupil can try out the different cells. And then if they manage that really successfully, you can go in, you can say, it says manage this size with each, try the next size. So you can go up and it automatically turns it into a 4 by 2. So then you can try a 4 by 2 activity. So it goes, you can basically assess how many cells an eye gaze user can cope with. So it's really nice. And then after you've done that, you can see what communication grid sets are available in that size. So you can then go in and it'll tell you from Online Grids which grid sets that you could download that would be suitable for a learner who can cope with that number of cells. So that could be a really useful assessment tool. And as I say, there's lots of, there's static, there's dynamic interactive activities. Let's just have a wee look at one of those.
To get started, select Start, then select each target cell that appears. This will allow you to see whether this grid size is suitable for you.
In case you didn't recognise him. So it moves around the screen so you can go to the next target. There's the car driving. So again, really good for assessment and finding out how many cells your pupils can deal with. The other nice one that's just been released is go back to Grid Explorer, is one to go with Look to Read, the program that I was just showing you. So I'll just go back along here. Oh my good. So Look to Read chat grid, look to computer control for Look to Read. So this is nice. So this is, if you had your eye gaze camera plugged in, you can check your track status, and then you can start up Look to Read, go into the software, and the pupil can be using the software and then flick back, go back to their grid set. So they can be controlling it all from the grid, which is a really nice way of being independent. There's also the same grid set for Look to Learn activities too. Okay, now the final thing I'm just going to show you is you might have heard of the Supercore grid sets in Grid 3 as well. The newest one out is Supercore 30 PCS, which is a really nice grid set for AAC. And there was the 50 and now the 30's come out, which is a really nice number of cells. And included in that,
I want.
Just going to say, I want
to play. I want to play. And then in the play, these grid sets link up with the Supercore learning grids. So for example, the bubbles. So you've got your core vocabulary and your vocabulary around bubbles. So you've got your vocabulary to go with an activity. And these are based on the Supercore learning grids as well. So to finish off, I'm just going to show you somebody in action using one of the Supercore learning grids. Supercore learning PCS. So this one here. So bubbles, for example. So with these, you could be saying, I want blow bubbles.
So I want to blow bubbles, and they might say
little bubbles
or
big bubbles.
And then
I want pop bubbles.
So there's lots and lots of vocabulary and lots of practice of using functional vocabulary in games and activities, which is what you're always looking for, of ways of practicing using the vocabulary in fun ways. So I'm just going to show you a little boy using the Supercore grids with ideas just to inspire you.
Open bubbles.
Well, I open bubbles. Yes.
Open bubbles.
Open bubbles.
Open.
Open. Good boy.
Pop. Bubbles.
You want to pop the bubbles? Okay.
Little. Big.
Yeah. You want little ones and big ones? Yeah. Okay then. Well, I
Blow bubbles.
blow the bubbles.
Little.
Blow little bubbles. Oh, that was a tiny one. Yay!
Okay, so just to let you see those grids in action, and just to see how great it is when you actually find a learner who's this is a way of opening up their communication and having them access materials and games and activities that they haven't been able to use before. Okay, I think I'm running out of time here, so I think I'm going to wrap up here. But just to let you know that all the information on these pieces of software and all the websites is all on these resources that you can download that Robert's just going to point you towards now. And if you have any questions, this would be the time to ask them. Thank you very much for listening.
That's great, Joanna. Thanks for showing us all that. Can I ask if anyone has any questions they'd like to ask Joanna? Okay, Joe, if you just go ahead. So the question is, it's not about tech, it's about exam timings for eye gaze users.
Okay.
How long can they have?
You mean special considerations? I
Yeah, I
presume.
think that's...
I can't tell you off the top of my head, but I'm sure that's something you can find out.
Yeah, we could certainly ask Paul.
Yep. Paul, our colleague at Call Scotland, deals a lot with digital exams and with special considerations for various access methods, so it's definitely something I could ask him about. Do you have somebody, a student, Joe? Do you have a student? Can you tell me how are they doing secondary exams? Is that the situation? Open to take GCSE, right? Okay. Well, we can certainly tell you what the arrangements are up in Scotland. There might be slightly different arrangements or signposting down in England, but we can definitely ask Paul about that. I'll make a note to do that. And we have your email address.
Yeah, we've got the email address.
Yeah, I'll get back to you, Joe, about that, okay? Good question. Doug is asking, have you any suggestions for older college users who are first-time users? Doug, are these older college users, do they have learning disabilities, or is it purely a physical access issue? Purely physical. Well, we kind of deal with school-age pupils up to 18. If you're looking for suggestions for older college users, you'd probably be best speaking to perhaps Smartbox.
That's great. Yeah, Smartbox.
Yeah, I would speak to Graham Innes at Smartbox. They deal with a lot of different ages of users across the board, so they might have some more suggestions for older college users. Again, if you're using Grid 3 software, there are other, Fast Talker, there are other grid sets for literate users. So that might be something if the person you're working with is somebody who's literate. Is it more an access to the computer that you're looking at rather than communication? Yes. Right. Well, if you get the trial, I would suggest maybe downloading the 60-day trial for Grid 3 and having a look at the grid sets that come with it that are Fast Talk or some of the text-based grid sets. They might be what you're looking for. And there's also Windows Control grid sets, because Grid 3 is one of those pieces of software that people use for accessing the whole computer as well. So that would probably be more what you're looking for, I think.
If you're asking about the files, we're going to send out an archive, and you can actually just double-click on the files to open them. So under the box that says files, you can actually scroll through them and you can double click on them.
So not just now? You can't
not just now. You can get them during the archive. The archive will be sent out probably tomorrow.
Right, and from there you'll be able to click on them and they'll download from there. Is that okay, Nick? Great.
Okay, if there's any more questions, I think we'll just wrap it up. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you. Hope it was useful. And if you have any other direct questions that you think of after, you're very free to get in contact with us at Call Scotland and we'll do our best to point you in the right direction.
Right, thanks everyone.
Thank you. Thanks all.